This is RV Life with Kim Hanna, where big rigs and a whole lot of chaos actually sometimes do go together. And today, we've got surprise visitors, a dying fridge, and 3 weeks worth of laundry. And you know what? Somehow it all actually worked out. Our RV refrigerator hit 57 degrees while we were camped in Oregon on a bucket list trip. The freezer, on the other hand, it was holding steady at 26 degrees. The fridge, it was basically a warm cabinet. And we had 2 days before we were supposed to move to our campground at Crater Lake National Park. We love our Furrion 12-volt RV refrigerator. In fact, we talked about it when we did our Grand Design 303 RLS 1-year review. But this was the first time we ever had any problem with it. And you know what? Honestly, we didn't even realize we had a problem at first. A few days earlier in our trip, we passed this adorable little roadside ice cream stand. We were going to get an ice cream after we did a hike on our way back to camp. When we got there, the place was closed, and we were both craving a scoop after all of that. So at the next stop, we grabbed a pint at the grocery store and we stuck it in the freezer. To be honest, it was sort of a desperation moment. We didn't even care what flavor it was. They could have called it freezer burn swirl and we would have bought it anyway. The next day, we opened the freezer and it was soft, really soft. That was our first red flag. We had big plans for this trip. Big days, busy drives, and not a whole lot of time for cooking. So before we even left home, we grilled a bunch of chicken breasts and we smoked a couple of pork butts, shredded them, put everything in freezer bags, sealed them up, and had a freezer full of cooked meat before we left for this trip. The idea was this: easy meals, no stress, just reheat and eat. So when the fridge started failing, our first thought was, oh no, we are gonna lose all of that meat. And let me tell you, throwing out that much cooked meat would be an absolute crime. This whole thing started on a Friday morning in Grants Pass. This was our planned stop to visit Pete's nephew. We had never been to his place before, so we were really looking forward to seeing it. What we didn't know was that Pete's brother flew in halfway across the country to make this a surprise. While Pete was on the phone talking to Lippert, calling the local RV dealership, and checking voltages, his nephew kept calling and trying to get him to go to lunch. We didn't realize it was part of a big surprise. So in between phone calls and voltmeter readings, we were also getting ready for a family reunion we didn't know was happening. The one day turned into two, full of catching up and boat rides and quick defrost checks of the freezer in between. On top of all of that, we had laundry, a lot of it. We had been boondocking and dry camping for 3 weeks. This stop had laundry facilities and I could not afford to waste them. I knew that if I could knock out all of that laundry in one day, we would have the rest of our time there for family time. So I crammed 3 weeks of laundry into one afternoon that led also into the evening. That was the plan anyway. So now we've got a broken fridge, a surprise family reunion, phone calls with Lippert, and laundry for days. This was easily the most chaotic stop of our trip. And somehow it turned out to still be one of the best ones. We started researching. A few videos said that if your freezer is like coldish, about where it should be, but your fridge temperature is pretty warm, it's probably a problem with the fan. So Pete got on the phone and he called Lippert. That is Furrion's parent company. They promptly sent us a diagnostic worksheet that we were supposed to take to a RV dealer or a mobile tech and have them complete it so that we could send it back to Lippert and they could begin to try to figure out what was wrong with our unit. Basically, they needed voltages and ohm readings. The local RV dealer couldn't see us till the following week. The mobile techs in the area were busy too. The campground staff was so helpful. They gave us a few phone numbers, but again, no luck. So Pete put on his red cape and became the hero of the day. He got out his voltmeter and he started getting the readings himself. At one point, he was getting a little stuck and he got on the phone with one of the local RVers who was in that same park that we were in. This guy was so nice. He was coaching Pete through how to get these resistance readings while I was holding a flashlight, and we were bound and determined we were going to get to Lippert what they needed before Friday was out. This guy even offered to come by if we still needed help when he got off of work. I'm going to tell you something, campground kindness is a real thing. So with a little help from YouTube University, a campground phone buddy, and a Lippert tech on speakerphone, Pete got through the entire sheet. The verdict? Our entire refrigerator needs to be replaced. Fortunately, it's still under warranty, but now we had a decision to make. Do we cancel our trip? Do we try to get a replacement scheduled somewhere along our route? Or do we just keep going and live out of coolers? We asked Lippert if we would be causing more damage to our rig if we left the fridge running so that we could use the section of the freezer that was maintaining at least freezer temperatures. And they said it was absolutely fine, but here's the caveat. Part of our problem is that our coils are frosting over. So because the computer board isn't working properly and the defrost cycle is not happening, we were going to have to manually defrost the freezer every 1 to 3 days. And that span of 1 to 3 days depended on the frost buildup. And they said because we are currently in climates with lots of moisture and humidity in the air, it's probably going to be closer to every day than every 3rd day. So now, along with doing dishes and dumping our tanks, we have added freezer hair dryer duty to our task list. It's kind of like a spa day, but for sad meat. If this made you laugh or helped you feel more prepared for your next RV journey, go ahead and like and subscribe so you don't miss our videos. What we decided to do was keep trucking. We moved everything out of the fridge and turned it into a pantry. And then we started living out of coolers. And you know how I mentioned in other videos that we really love our countertop ice maker, but we only use it to do drink ice? Well, on this trip, all of that has changed. We are now using our countertop ice maker to make ice for our cooler. So because heat rises, the top shelves in the refrigerator are getting warmer. They're not maintaining a frozen temperature, but they're still in a refrigerator temperature range. So it's because the fan has failed also, and it's not circulating the air. So the entire freezer is kind of acting like a combo of a refrigerator freezer unit. The bottom shelves of the freezer and the bottom drawers are definitely staying frozen, a nice steady 26, 27 degrees. It's not ideal, but it's livable, and we're still going strong on our bucket list RV trip this summer. And hey, we still have ice cream, kind of. Okay, it's more like ice cream soup, but you know what I mean. Actually, that hurts even more because of our roadside stand fiasco. We're still craving ice cream. What we learned is that this is actually a common failure point for these 12-volt refrigerators. The computer boards seem prone to be going out. And when the computer board goes out, the thing has no brains whatsoever. That means your entire refrigerator needs to be replaced. If you are searching 12-volt Furrion RV refrigerator not cooling, you are definitely not alone. So once we get home, we are going to get our fridge replaced. Our terms, our timing, Lippert has been wonderful. So would we do this again? Honestly, yeah. So far, our workaround is actually working. We're still exploring, we are still traveling, we're still eating, we are still on the trip that we dreamed about for years. So what would you do? Cancel the trip and deal with the fridge? Or would you do what we did and keep going and just make it work? Leave a comment. I'd love to know what you would do if you were in our shoes. This is the same fridge that we praised when we did our 1-year review of our Grand Design 303 RLS. If you want to see what we actually liked about it before, I'm going to leave a link for that video in the description below, and I'll see you over there.
Finally, we got some ice cream that's frozen, not soupy. And it's pretty darn good.